On June 20th, 1944, Felix and Felka Nussbaum were discovered and arrested by the Wehrmacht in their attic on Rue Archimède in Brussels. They were betrayed by a neighbor. Both were deported on July 31st, 1944, on the last train from Belgium to Auschwitz. They perished there in the gas chambers on August 2nd, 1944. Felix Nussbaum, Felka Nussbaum, Judah Eisner, Rudolf Goldmann, Regina Goldstein, Hilda Hirsch, Kurt Körner, Markus Spitzmann, Ilse Bressler, Gisela Bressler, Malvin Laschauer, Arthur Bleiberg, Isaac Kling, Hedwig Roniger, Johanna Stern, Malvina Stern, Rebecca Kornfein, Alice Schwarz, Bernard Wittner, and my grandmother and my grandfather, Regina Weissenberg, Abraham König.
Chaque vie est un roman, sauf que la première partie de ma vie a été un tout petit peu bousculée par des gens qui pensaient que je n'étais pas. Mais je suis. Et voilà.
You who live safe in your warm houses, you who find warm food and friendly faces when you return home, consider that this is a man who works in mud, who knows no peace, who fights for a crust of bread, who dies by a yes or no. Consider if this is a woman without hair, without name, without the strength to remember. Empty are her eyes, cold her womb like a frog in winter. Never forget that this has happened. These words, engrave them in your hearts, when at home or in the street, when lying down, when getting up. Repeat them to your children.
Dear friends, we are here today to commemorate the victims of the Holocaust, the worst tragedy in European history. Remembering is not only an act of commemoration. It is a crucial process if we want to avoid repeating the same errors. This act of remembrance takes place in a time when Europe is questioning itself, its future, and its values. Unfortunately, anti-Semitism is not an issue of the past. Besides the horrendous attacks in Toulouse, Paris, and Brussels against the Jewish communities in Europe, acts of violence are increasing.
The Jews in Europe are facing threat unique to our people. Unlike any other minority, we are not just targets of the far right, but also of the far left, as well as Islamist extremists. Few would believe, but there is even cooperation and coordination between these extremist groups on one issue only: Jews. This is the new anti-Semitism, without limits, without borders, and with multiple identities and political homes. We feel that the best way for European leaders to commemorate the Holocaust would be to recommit themselves to a safe future. We European Jews want to remain in Europe and be loyal to it, as we have always been. Even after Holocaust, we didn't give up on Europe. But today, our young generations have doubts about their future on the continent. As responsible Europeans, we feel that we must join our forces to defense of our common European values against extremism, radicalism, and terrorism. We paid an enormous price for our freedom, safety, and normal life in our countries. Historical memory should be strong and uncompromisable, so that the future generations never find themselves facing a new tragedy that we left them as a heritage.
We are here on International Holocaust Remembrance Day to remember, of course, but not only to remember, but also to reflect and to respond. Indeed, the Jewish spirit that I've come to know so well and admire so greatly would never be satisfied merely with passive memory. There is no small act of prejudice that does not enlarge the space for prejudice and hatred to flourish. So when we stand against it, we stand from the beginning, from the first insult, the first stone, the first even petty act of hate, the first barrier erected to the idea that people are indeed equal.
The European Medal of Tolerance is bestowed upon Andrei Konchalovsky in recognition of his lifelong achievements in art and culture. His finesse and exceptional talent are best reflected in his most recent drama, Paradise, which is touching upon human relations in times of the Shoah. Andrei Konchalovsky, I am so honored to award you with the European Medal of Tolerance.
I feel my duty as an artist, I feel our all duties of all is not to let this bleeding wound on human consciousness be healed ever. Thank you.
Prière à la mémoire des 6 millions de Juifs assassinés pendant la Shoah. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, ויצמח פורקנה ויקרב משיחי, בחיי חול וביומי חול, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי העלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתחומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ואמרו אמן.